It's a phrase that lives in infamy at all tables to this very day, and has been around since the beginning of tabletop RPGs, and roleplay for that matter. Drama is caused, groups break apart, and games are ruined, all because of something that someone's character would do. But what if I told you that this TTRPG killer is not as bad as it seems? And what if I told you that it's really all about intention, both in character and out of character? Greetings, travelers. My name is Shade, and I've been playing, DMing, and role-playing in TTRPGs and other platforms for many years. Today we're talking about one of the most iconic, albeit controversial, phrases in tabletop RPGs. The dreaded and sinister, "it's what my character would do." Some people treat it like a warning sign, but honestly, it's one of the purest expressions of roleplay. The trick is understanding why it sometimes causes friction and how to use it in a way that makes the story even better, both from a player's and a DM's perspective. When someone typically says, "it's what my character would do," what they're really saying is, "I'm invested, I'm thinking like my character, I'm making choices based on personality, not just mechanics." That's the heart of tabletop RPGs. It's what separates these games from board games, video games, and other activities put together. It's not only a game we play with mechanics, but it's a story that we tell together. It's how we get emotional moments, character growth, memorable failures, and surprising twists. Role-playing is supposed to feel messy, human, and imperfect. And this phrase is a sign that a player is embracing that, or at the very least trying to. Yet, there are some players that don't fully understand what this means, and even some still that try to use it for nefarious means. So, why does it go wrong? Well, here's the honest truth. The phrase itself isn't the problem. It's the context surrounding it. "It's what my character would do" becomes an issue when it's used to justify actions that undermine the group, disrupt the overarching story, remove agency from other players, create conflict without purpose, and, the worst offender of them all, ignoring the social contract the players and the DM set with each other during session zeros. Examples of this include stealing from party members, especially when you don't talk about it above table beforehand, starting fights that derail the session, both in character and out of character, especially if the DM has to intervene, refusing to cooperate just to be in character. And no, I'm not speaking specifically about being the quiet, edgy rogue or the stoic, edgy paladin. I'm talking about not cooperating with the group that ends up turning into a 2-hour full session of you not cooperating with the group. And then sabotaging plans because it's quote-unquote funny. And in this instance as well, if you're doing it because I think it would be really funny and the group agrees, that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to be mean-spirited and getting it for personal kicks, that's where the problem lies. These actions clearly aren't inherently bad with the proper context and proper communication surrounding them, but they can be. They just need to be handled with the correct intention in mind. The real issue here isn't the character, it's not the players, it's not the DM, it's not the game, the setting, the party dynamic, or lack of synergy. It really just comes down to one thing and one thing alone: communication. Most conflicts happen because the player is thinking in character, but the rest of the party and table is thinking out of character, DM included. This is where the divide is heavily seen, not mixing in character and out of character, but also not fundamentally undermining the concept behind the game and the party itself. The player sees a dramatical emotional moment, the party sees a roadblock. The player sees character authenticity, the DM sees a character not taking the call to action. The phrase becomes a problem when it's used as a shield instead of a bridge. It's one thing if the characters don't agree on methods. They most likely won't. That helps with building interest in the story that you write together, and individual stakes. It's another problem when players do not agree with one another, let alone with the DM. Not all hope is lost, however, as these can be fixed and communication can be saved. Now, here's the good thing. You don't need to stop playing your character authentically. You just need to bring the table along for the ride. But, in that same vein, they need to be willing passengers. You can't force them. Same way you can't force a dog to do new tricks. Old joke, but whatever. First and foremost, communicating your intention is key before you act out. Saying something like, hey, my character's about to make a bad decision, but it's for story reasons, can turn chaos into collaboration. And if you want to make this more of a secret, this is where you talk to your DM, where you can then turn a pure chaos situation into something that can be more controlled and focused into the story, potentially adding on to the narrative. Another thing that you can do is separating your personal goals from the character's goals. Your characters might want to storm off alone for whatever reason, be it that they're a loner, that they don't trust others, etc. But you, the player, want everyone to have fun, so find a compromise that honors both. Potentially, your character might go with one other person, which can lead to a potential character moment. Or maybe you can work something out with the DM so that something can happen to the character where they don't want to go alone for whatever reason, be it a save, a story beat, a potential encounter. The opportunities are endless. Another thing is using conflict to build the story, not shut it down. Character conflict is amazing. We all love it. We all love the drama. It's juicy and what makes D&D D&D, especially when it leads somewhere. Ask yourself this. Does this create story, or does it stop story? Does it add on to something, or does it remove something altogether? Another thing is letting consequences, which is the big thing, be a part of the roleplay. If your character makes a reckless choice, embrace the fallout. Consequences aren't punishment, they're storytelling fuel. When you fail, embrace the failure. Use it as a moment where your character can grow, as failing is part of not just growing as a character, but as a person. And certainly, last but not least, the big one, collaborate with the DM. You and your DM can help each other turn your character and the story trying to be told, their impulses and their problems into potential plot hooks instead of obstacles. And even if they are obstacles, you can still use that as a narrative focus to potentially enhance the story along with your group. That's why it's very, very important to communicate with everyone at the table. When used thoughtfully with the proper intention, it's what my character would do is a sign of deep engagement and love for the game and the character. It means the player is thinking about motivation, emotion, backstory, growth, and authenticity. It's not about being disruptive, it's about being immersed. And honestly, some of the best moments in RPG history come from characters making choices that weren't smart, weren't optimal, but were true to who they were. And that's what it's really all about. Being immersed, having fun, and being someone that you're not. The next time that you hear "it's what my character would do," instead of thinking of it as a red flag, think of it as a tool, a narrative tool. One that works best when paired with communication, collaboration, and a shared understanding of the story that everyone at your table, you, your party, DM, are all trying to tell together. Use it wisely, because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to play perfectly, it's to play honestly. That's where the best stories come from, after all, right from the heart. If you enjoyed this breakdown of a little age-old phrase, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification so you never miss an upload. Tell me in the comments, what's a time when it's what my character would do led to an unforgettable moment at your table, be it good, bad, indifferent, or maybe even sinister? Thank you for watching, and I will see you within the realms of the world.